So hi, good afternoon everybody. This is DUTTA, Director, Success and Education Services, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Let me tell you that Success and Education Services is a premier institute that leads students for various competitive examinations that are absolutely related to law. So in the line of the preparations, we have the majorly considered to be the most important of all the time is CLAT. So CLAT is one of the entrance examinations which is very much in these days people after the 12th standard, people who are looking forward to a career after 12th standard, they are pursuing. I'm giving you such informations. Let me tell you that in CLAT 2023, which recently happened in the month of December, around 60,000 students across the country have written that paper. So you could understand that the students are taking this particular subject or the field very seriously after the intermediates. That is also the reason why the examination is getting more and more streamlined. Every examination has a certain demands. I would say that every examination has a certain way of judging the students or selecting the students because they know that we are absolutely want this particular type of students, whether it is the exam called CLAT or it is the exam called IIT or it is the exam called the medical entrance examinations. Every exam has a certain pattern, certain set, on the basis of which they decide that these are the candidates that we want and these are the candidates that would be suitable for us to make them aligned for the future in the kind of course that they are getting into. You must be knowing this fact that people getting into CLAT and then finally getting into college, which is basically the National Law University, doing a 5 years of integrated law program, and the ultimate goal for such students is to get into a corporate job. Assuming this fact that somebody who is studying in a national school and none of the family members are into the business of law or into the practice of law, most of the people try to get into a corporate sector kind of job. And that is also the most convenient too. Because you know that the placements are very good in national schools. The immediate placement, or I would say that the starting placements are very good. You can think of getting an average placement of 15 to 17 lakh rupees in a national school. It's not a big story, it's a very common thing, you will find it out. Also at the same time, depending upon the caliber of the student, depending upon how the student is working in a national school, how he kept or she kept herself in the school in that last 5 years of preparations, studying different variety of subjects in the law, getting himself or herself intimated with variety of things, doing a lot of internships, doing a lot of practice. Based on that, people do select or take such students into the corporate sector jobs, and the placements are immensely good. Now today, getting into an IIT, studying 4 years of a BTech program, and at the same time, if somebody is getting into a national school studying 5 years of integrated law program, I can tell you that the placements are almost going to be same when it comes to a calculation of average placements. In fact, the placements in national schools are at a scale of 12 to 15 and so on. So you will always be able to find it out that the starting package is always good. So you can start a very good career after 5 years of program, and that is the reason why today at this point of time, almost 60,000 students are writing these exams across different places in the country. I could realize this fact that at my time, when I was a boy and I was studying in a college, somebody who was getting into law would be someone who would be either practicing law in a court, and people used to presume that these people are not the forward kind of people and they are getting into such kind of professions called law. But let me tell you that the mindset of the people have changed, and we have studied that how the social engineering cannot be done well without having people coming out from the best of the law institutions, doing best of the legal work, doing lot of frameworks into legal sectors. Without the help of those people, without the help of those expert people, we won't be able to have good social engineering. And that is the reason why today, at this moment of time, we have almost 24 national law schools coming up in the pipeline in 2023 and 4. As you know that Tripura has a new entrant into the list of the national schools, and along with that, the national school Gandhinagar has started one more campus, that is in Silvassa. So we have right now a total of 24 national schools in the country who are imparting legal education to the students coming out after 12th standard. I was aware of this fact very well that this is a new era and people are getting into this kind of education with lot of expectations in their mind. Tell you very frankly that at my time, or maybe if you're listening to this lecture of mine, you can ask to your father or to your mother, they would say, well, get into college without any expectation, because something called placement was not at all there in the college or also in the mind of the students. So whenever we enter into college, we get into college just to study and to pass that college with a lot of good marks, and we try to figure it out later on as to what we are supposed to do after that degree. But today, at this point of time, in the modern education world, people are getting into college with a lot of things in their mind from the very beginning. They have everything decided in their mind that this is what I am planning for the next 5 years, and this is what I am planning after 5 years, and this is what I am planning after 10 years. Their short-term goal, long-term goals, everything was decided from the very beginning. I would say that today at this point of time, we have much smarter people, much smarter students getting into the various different category of careers, and they already have decided, they already knew this fact, what they are supposed to go, why they are supposed to go, what they are demanding, what are their expectations, what are their achievements that they realize from the very beginning before they achieve it. So that is the reason why we need to, at the same time, be able to go one step beyond to analyze what the market is going to respond 5 years down the line and so on. Lot many people this year, I would say, have returned the exam called CLAT 2023, which happened recently in the December 2022. And they have seen the variety of change in the paper, To all such parents, to all such students who are planning to go for the next CLAT, that is in December 2023, for CLAT 2024, let me tell you very frankly that things have changed upside down. You will not find unworthy, unrealistic, unwanted questions in the paper. Top to bottom, the questions are very selective. They are very classical paper, very classical set of questions. Absolutely theme-based questions, very persuasive. And that is the reason why the quality of people now getting into the colleges are absolutely tremendous. It is also not so that before this time, the people getting into national college were not well read. Of course they were. But today at this point of time, people are much more into it with a lot of research. That is the reason why the paper has become very complicated. Not just complicated, but I would say that you need to be very responsive to the paper. If you have something at the back of your mind from the very beginning, and you are expecting the similar things to happen in the paper, and that is the reason you are able to solve the paper. Now at this point of time, it is nothing like that. The paper is absolutely according to the need of the time. And you do not know what is going to happen tomorrow, so you need to be much more responsive. Much more responsive, I mean that even if you have not studied anything, but then looking at the paper, looking at the questions in the paper, you are able to bring out from all that you studied in the past. That is, we are looking forward to have a general preparations across different subjects, across different resources, and then will be able to positively react in the paper. That is what I accept this word as a person with lot of response and be able to do such kind of paper in the exams. We are definitely in the 21st century and things are going to change tremendously. That means what is going to happen in the next moment, I do not know. Okay, so things are moving very fast and we need to change very fast. And if we do not do that, in some way or the other way, we are going to lack in our preparations. So this dialogue is just to change the students of 2024 to make them aware of this fact that the content of the paper is absolutely around you. You are not supposed to move here and there. You are not supposed to bother anything. Just to try to be little more responsive. That's it. Now what I am planning today is to make you an understanding before getting into this war. Yeah, this is a war. There is no doubt about it that you are not going to become a part of this war. You have already become a part of this war if you have decided this fact that I am going to appear for CLAT 2024. The reason war I am using because of the fact that anybody getting into counseling with us, the only thing that comes in their mind is either I would like to get into an LSIU Bangalore or I would like to be somewhere in the top 6 colleges of the country. Yeah, sure, believe me, anybody who is coming for this exam, preparing for this exam, has only one thing in mind, sir, I would like to get into the top 6 colleges, if not the number 1 college in LSIU Bangalore. यदि ये नहीं बोलते तो ये जरूर बोलते हैं कि मुझे जाना है. I would like to be in the top 6 colleges of the country and tell you a very real fact of this at this moment that it is not so easy unless you prepare from the very beginning, unless you understand what is exactly I'm supposed to do for these exams. Okay, so you could see that I have just written orientation CLAT 2024. Now before getting further into the topic, I would like to request all of you to subscribe our channel, that is Success and Education Services for CLAT. Alright, we do prepare for other entrance examinations like CLAT for MLU Delhi. You know this fact, and we do help students to prepare for examinations that are related to law, but that is absolutely for different states having their own entrance examinations. Like for example, people getting into graduation, they are supposed to get graduated and then they are going to write the Delhi University exams. We do make students prepare for such exams as well. So right now at this priority, the target is CLAT 2024. The students will be absolutely who are inclined towards CLAT and so on. So what is to be done? क्या करना चाहिए? इस particular lectures में I have given you the link, certain links, and that link will help you to download certain papers. That is the changed paper. When the paper got changed, when the pattern of the examination has changed from 2020, I have already given the link of 4 different papers for 4 different years: 2020, 2021, 2022, alright, and 2023, which recently happened. So 4 different papers, you could check it out. So आप उसमें से download कर सकते हैं. You can just download all the 4 different papers. And you'll be able to figure it out what is the line and length of the paper, what the paper is talking, what is the demand of the examiner, what are the variety of sections that are kept in the paper, what are the variety of passages that are kept on the paper, and what I am supposed to do keeping those paper in my mind. Alright? So orientation lecture 2024 talks about how to streamline preparation for CLAT 2024. So number 1, I have given you the sample papers of CLAT 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022 and 2023. All those sample papers, I would say those are not the sample papers actually. It has become a sample paper for you right now, but those are the actual CLAT papers that were there in those years. So I have kept the link in this particular video. You just have to bring those model question papers on table. And what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to see each and every question. That means you need to see each and every section of 4 different question papers that came for the last 4 consecutive years. Okay? You need to see the picture before the pictures get ready for yourself. Okay? So we are making a movie that is going to launch in the year 23 December for CLAT 2024, and that movie is absolutely based on these 4 different question papers. That is the theme. Those are the actual CLAT papers that were asked in the 4 different years, and this would going to become the benchmark as to how the level of the paper has to be kept maybe in 2024. So to presume that paper, to identify that paper, to bring that paper into your mind, you need to have gone through 4 different papers like this. Okay, so try to figure out all these sections of the paper, whether it is quantitative ability, or it is logical reasoning, or it is English, or legal reasoning, or current affairs. So you have to look after each and every section so keenly and try to figure it out as to what was the content in the paper. Unless I know what is the content of the paper, I won't be able to figure it out as to what is going to happen in 2024. So these papers are going to make your preparation properly streamlined. There were almost 10 to 15 topics. Those are very confined. Okay, and any institution who would make students prepare for these exams, they always keep those topics to be prepared in the class and so on, and all those topics are actually being erased from the paper all of a sudden in 2020. Now when you look at the paper, you will find every paper, whether it is in 2020 or 21 or 22 or 23, all of them are different passages in all the sections. I can tell you this is the only exam in the world which has only passages, whether it is GK. Now, we never thought that people would be asking GK in the form of passages. We never thought that current affairs are going to ask in the form of passages. We never thought that even the mathematics portion in CLAT would ever be asked in the form of passages. This is entirely different of any classical paper which is available in the entire world. Not in US, not in America, Britain, or not in Europe. Nowhere you will not find such kind of paper. So you would understand the importance of competitive exam for the Indian students. We are very much okay with a lot of change, and the kind of experiment that we do, putting the different variety of paper for the students for different entrance examinations, which nowhere you will find that to that intensity people are conducting such kind of exams. Alright? Now I would not say that this is a different paper, this is very tough paper, this is something that nobody can do it. Believe me, today you say 2023 somebody has scored 116 out of 150. Obviously, CLAT paper at this point of time is out of 150 questions. Total 150 questions, and that you are supposed to do in 2 hours of time. पहले भी था, अभी भी है. And people are able to score 116. 116, you could understand. 116. लगभग 78-79% of the paper people are coming out with that score, having every right answer given as 1 mark and every wrong answer given as minus 0.25. With all plus and minus, the net score which somebody is coming out at all India rank 1 is 116. So you could understand that people are preparing to what intensity. They know almost the whole paper. So with such kind of people, we are about to make a competition. So every student who think that he has an upper line. He has an upper line, and that upper line is not below 110. You can have ample of things waiting for you in the next 10 months of time. You have great things coming up in your mind. There are great things coming up in your life in the next 10 months. By the time you will write CLAT 2024. So that is the reason why sometimes we believe that not only an assurance, but a small amount of instigation is also required for the students. So that you know that from the very beginning that this is what is going to happen. There are many people who are going to be ahead of me with a score of 120 or 160. So if I'm dreaming for a score of 90, we have people in the exams who are going beyond that. People are scoring 116, assuming that 90 to 116 there are 26 marks. And if you calculate that in every small fraction of marks there are 10 to 15 people, that means 60 people in a single number. So you can calculate 25 into 60 would give you what? You are out from the top 6. So at this moment of time, we need to first of all decide what is my top line. Am I able to keep my top line at a score which is something beyond my preparation right now at this point of time, and I will be able to prepare for that. If I can imagine that my preparation can be scaled up and I will be able to score that top line where somebody has already scored. That means I would be competing with someone who has scored a score of 116. If that comes in your mind, believe me, you are in the top 6. Preparation का मतलब कभी ये नहीं होता that I would be selecting in the exams. Of course, but when I am in a very good position, when I don't know that I am going to do an ample of things for myself for these preparations, I need to keep my benchmark at a scale which is something beyond my caliber, and let me see to what extent I will be able to touch it. Or maybe if I may miss by a very small percent, but I will be definitely getting into that level. So we have 10 months of time, 11 months of time in our hand, keeping this month of January and half January and the rest of the months. I believe that 10 to 11 months of preparation is very fantastic for all the students who are dreaming for CLAT 2024. So number one thing that you have to do is download all these 4 papers, check out all the papers one by one, and do take some time to see the paper, see the level, see the questions, and try to analyze whether from 2020 to 21 there was an increment in the level, 21 to 22 whether there was an increment in the level, and 22 to 23 did you find any kind of increment in the level of the paper. You try to calculate that level also at the same time. Now I know that all those people who are very much active for CLAT 2024, they know how to judge the level of the paper. There are a lot of things by which you can analyze this, maybe based on the amount of content in the paper, based on the kind of questions in the paper, based on the kind of topics in the paper. Are they very general topics? Are those topics are very frequently seen topics in various newspapers, magazines, or in other resources and so on? So based on that, you need to figure it out that what was the level of the paper and where you could realize yourself within that paper. Are you able to connect with that paper or not? So this is just to make sure that you may have a healthy competition in the time to come and you know what to target and what to achieve. That is already there and you have calculated that. तो ये calculation आपको आज ही इस हफ्ते ही करके रखना है. Alright, this is a very important thing. You're writing an examination which is very competitive, and all the people, almost you will find thousands of students who are writing this paper. They are equal. Just because of small silly reason, someone who loses the rank and gets into 1000 rank, and someone who is not making any fault, he finds himself to be in the top 200. मैं आपको सच बताऊं, 1 से लेकर 2200 250 के रैंक पे बहुत ज्यादा फर्क नहीं होता है. मतलब somebody who is getting first ranker and somebody who is at a rank of 200, I don't find that there is any change, any difference in between these two people. Somebody who is at a rank of 200 may top the exams if some mistakes, whatever that he has or she has committed, if not have done. Alright, because I have seen so many people from the classroom programs at a score of 196 rank, 195 rank, 205 rank and something like that, in fact 236 rank, and we were expecting the top single digit rank from such students. Few mistakes and they come down by 200 ranks. So from 1 to 500, I don't find that these people have any difference in them unless somebody is very prone to make mistakes in the paper whenever he writes that paper or she writes that paper. So second thing, commit less mistakes. So some people do think a lot of calculations that I will go for an attempt of 140, I will go for an attempt of 130 and so on. Somebody go for 140 as a selection, 140 as the number of attempts. Now keeping that number of attempts is nothing to worry about, but the problem is if you keep that without understanding the fact that where is my accuracy, probably things will be very difficult to manage. Alright, so committing a lot of mistakes will bring yourself down. There are certain things which are very important and somebody has to keep in mind before getting into the exams, and that is less mistakes. I need to commit less mistakes. Everyone who is writing the paper knows it well that here is the point where I am committing mistakes. Here is the point where I am doing some mistakes, so I should not be attempting this particular answer. मैं इसको आंसर नहीं करूंगा. मेरे पास दो ऑप्शंस करेक्ट है, दो ऑप्शन रॉन्ग है, मुझे लग रहा है इनमें से कोई आंसर है, बट मुझे लगता है कि मैं गलत हो सकता हूं, तो आई वुड लाइक टू रिजर्व माय अटेम्प्ट. So sometimes putting your attempt under reserve is going to work. Alright, depending upon how many attempts that you have made, sometimes it is easy to take risk. So it is nothing but the sides of a coin, and you are the best person to judge. All I can explore here is that somebody who is at a better level of preparations would be definitely going to commit less mistakes in the paper. तो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आप बहुत सारे अटेम्प्ट करके पेपर को टॉप कर लो unless you know whatever that you are attempting 80%, 85% of them are going correct. If that is how you find yourself happening in the paper, I would say things are getting better. So whatever that you prepare on a daily basis, you need to check, you need to make proper scrutiny on that. That means whatever that you study, you need to have a proper solving of questions based on whatever that you study. So this is again a very important element when somebody is writing a paper, committing less mistakes while attempting the paper. Number 3, as you know that we are going to write 5 different sections in the paper. One is quantitative ability, logical reasoning, English, legal reasoning and current affairs. Legal reasoning is such a paper, I would say that not almost, but everybody, 100% of the students who are preparing this particular exam will be doing it completely. Almost every student solve each and every questions of legal reasoning. Because of course it is based on a lot of theoretical concept, lot of interesting concept that are based on crime, that are based on law of contract, those are based on tort, those are based on recent judgments that are happening in the Supreme Court and the High Courts. Very selective portion of cases that are very relevant to the subjects are basically coming in the paper. So you need to have proper resource that you should be always be able to read them on a regular basis. उसके लिए कुछ sites है, I can recommend you. आप मेरे को live law.in आप देख सकते हो for legal reasoning. And bar and bench is again a very good legal site wherein you can get not only the legal GK, but at the same time the judgment of the various cases, the top stories, and the various judgment of the High Courts and the Supreme Court. Based on those themes, people are going to take some of the concept and put it in the paper, and you are supposed to write 5 to 6 questions in the paper. इसमें बहुत सारे मिल जाए आपको. India legal, then you can have law auto. These are some of the very common sites I would say, but इनमें से कोई 2-3 साइट्स पे भी आप डेली रूटीन पर पढ़ते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि आपका लीगल रीजनिंग इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी प्रोटेक्टेड, दिक्कत आपको नहीं आएगा. एंड ऑलमोस्ट मतलब ये आप देखो तो 25 to 27% of the paper are coming from these sections. मतलब 40 क्वेश्चंस इस सेक्शन में आते हैं, एंड somebody is able to score 28 or 30, minimum 30, तो मेरे ख्याल से काफी अच्छा स्कोर बन सकता है. People are scoring even more than 30 plus and so on, 35, and somebody who is scoring a minimum of 28 or 30, that is also not bad. Okay, so from 28 onwards we believe that the score is commendable, the score is enough to get into a national school and so on. तो इतनी प्रिपरेशन आपको हो सकती है from all this variety of sites wherever you have time to sit on. आप इसमें से कलेक्ट कर सकते हो. These are very resourceful, very useful, and would definitely help you in your preparations. ठीक है? Books reading. मतलब आपको मैं कह सकता हूं रीडिंग डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू हेल्प यू. रीडिंग आपको काफी मदद करेगा. उसमें आप किसी भी प्रकार की बुक्स को आप पढ़ सकते हो, और हाँ उसमें आपकी चॉइस है. यू कैन गेट इनटू लीगल बुक्स मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, द बुक्स दैट आर बेस्ड ऑन मिस्ट्रीज, मर्डर मिस्ट्रीज एंड सो ऑन, एंड द बुक्स दैट आर very argumentative, because sometimes in the paper you would see that every passage that is coming in front of you is absolutely very argumentative. That means the author is trying to persuade you with the principle, and you need to follow that principle very openly. Based on that you need to find out the answers of the problems. तो जैसे आप मूवी देखते हो, whenever you watch a movie for example, so when you watch a movie you know the theme of the movie. Once you get into the movie, at least by 50% of the movie you have already watched. By that you are able to figure it out what is going to happen in the next. तो बुक में भी वैसे होना चाहिए that I read 50% of the passage or 60% of the passage. Now I would be able to figure it out what is going to be the final concluding part of the passage. So when I read a book, I'll be able to know what is the concluding part of the book just after writing 50% of the book, reading 50% of the book. I'll be able to figure it out कि आगे ऐसे कुछ होने वाला है. तो am I able to catch the theme of the author? Am I able to catch the argument of the author? क्या ऑथर मेरे को परसुएड कर रहा है और मैं परसुएड हो पा रहा हूं टू द लाइन एंड प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द ऑथर? दैट इज ऑल यू नीड टू चेस. तो एवरी बुक दैट कुड गिव यू एन आइडिया ऑफ आर्गुमेंट, आई वुड बिलीव दैट इट इज गोइंग टू सर्व योर पर्पस. तो रीडिंग कभी भी बुरी नहीं होती है, और एटलीस्ट हमारे एग्जाम्स के लिए रीडिंग इज ए मस्ट वन. सो इफ वी आर नॉट रीडिंग, वी आर नॉट डूइंग जस्टिस विद आवर प्रिपरेशंस. अब रीडिंग देखो आपके ऊपर है. आई हैव सीन पीपल हु रीड 2 to 3 बुक्स a week. बट मैं इतना तो नहीं बोलूंगा, बट इफ यू रीडिंग 2 books a month, I would say that is great. और दो भी नहीं होता है तो I would say that 1 book a month. That means if you are reading 12 books or 15 books in the whole preparations, तो मेरे को लगता है कि वो काफी satisfactory होगा. Not just in terms of keeping your reading speed at an optimal level, but at the same time you'll be able to comprehend them. तो आप कोशिश करें कि कम से कम at least 15 books throughout the preparations. I can also make a list of books if you want, and we can add it to the next video of mine whenever you feel okay. तो ऐसे करीब 15 बुक्स का आप टोटल बना सकते हैं. Not putting too much of load on the students who are getting into schools at the same time, but I believe that 15 बुक 10 से 11 महीने के अंदर पढ़े जा सकते हैं, and this would definitely going to add lot of not only just informations but different argument of the authors, हाउ समबडी राइट ए बुक और उसकी क्या थीम होती है, उसके क्या प्रिंसिपल्स होते हैं, यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग ऑल दैट। पांचवा मैं आपको बोलूंगा कि करंट अफेयर्स। ये जो मैंने बुक की बात आपसे कही है उसका एक रीजन भी है, बिकॉज इन इंग्लिश ऑल्सो यू कुड सी दैट there is hardly any grammar questions on grammar or vocabulary. It is mostly based on the theme, tone, and the central idea, and what is the argument of the author and something like that. And when it comes to logical reasoning, also you will find all the passages are absolutely very argumentative. So when you are able to do an argument with the reference to the idea of the author, I think that would give you a lot of plus point to come out, successfully in reading and answering that questions in the paper, that too properly in English and logical reasoning. तो इससे आपकी लॉजिकल रीजनिंग और इंग्लिश बहुत बेटर हो जाएगी मुझे लगता है। तो एक तो मैं इंग्लिश के लिए बात कर रहा हूँ और दूसरा मैं आपको लॉजिकल रीजनिंग के लिए बात कर रहा हूँ। और ये तो डेफिनेटली जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, मैं आपका लीगल रीजनिंग के लिए ये पर्टिकुलर चीजें को आपको बता रहा हूं। करंट अफेयर्स इज नो एंड, मतलब आपके पास बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। ओके, करंट अफेयर्स में यू कैन गेट इनटू ऑनलाइन एंड आई वुड से दैट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ साइट्स यू कैन फाइंड। यू कैन इन फैक्ट टेक आवर्स आल्सो। वी also compile week wise the more important issues across the country, whether it is related to art and culture or any historical events or any contemporary issues that is happening in the country, outside the country, has certain importance towards the society. We are compiling them, so you can take them also from our website and so on. So current affairs has a lot of things into it, so you need to be in touch with this particular concept on a daily basis and properly have to make your own notes. Let me tell you, last year in CLAT 2023, out of 35 questions, 29 questions, I quote it once again, 29 questions from our material. And some people, after writing the paper, when I have shown them through the various classroom sheets, some people were shocked because they could not revise them. Now people do not make proper revision, that is a bigger problem. Because content in current affairs is huge. Month-wise content, if you calculate, there are huge amount of material. मतलब यदि आप एक महीने का मटेरियल देखो ना, करीब 100 से 150 पेज आपको मिल जाएगा, ऐसे जिसको आपको पढ़ना होगा। मतलब आपको लगेगा कि मैं ये भी पढ़ लूं, मैं ये भी पढ़ लूं, मैं इसको नहीं छोड़ना चाहता हूं, इसको नहीं छोड़ना चाहता। और इससे तो एक बड़ा अचंभा हुआ। When it comes to the GK paper, the examiner not only put the passage, keeping 1 to 2 questions that are associated with the passage, but they linked the single liner questions in the passage. That was very, very difficult for the people to chase such kind of passages. So this year onwards, make sure that you not only read the single liners, all right, but the whole issue also. That means आपको बहुत ही गहराई से पेपर को सब्जेक्ट को पढ़ना पड़ेगा when it comes to current affairs. सारे टॉपिक्स को बहुत गहराई से पढ़ना पड़ेगा, for an example, and at the same time single liners. So you have to make a proper balance of both, not only the topic but the single liners as well, not only the single liners but the topic as well, completely. Okay, so that is how the current affairs can be prepared. तो आप चाहो तो बहुत सारे material you can get it through different sites across the online, you can find it out. मुझे लगता है कि आज के तारीख पर, in fact in modern, in this kind of preparations, people are not taking any hard material, they are just putting it from the online and they are studying it. मुझे लगता है ज्यादातर बच्चे अपने स्क्रीन पर रखते हैं when it comes to the current affairs part, स्क्रीन पर रखते हैं, स्क्रीन पर पढ़ते हैं। और आजकल ये भी हो गया कि छोटे स्क्रीन पर पढ़ते हैं, they try to keep it on the tab or I would say the cell phone, और उसमें पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं। बिलीव करिए इसमें आपको कोई फायदा नहीं होगा। Please try to put them on a print and read them properly the way we used to read, before we had these smartphones and so on. यदि हो सके तो मैगजीन खरीदिए, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। One magazine may cost you 100 rupees, 10 month it may cost you only 1000 rupees. But उसमें आप इतना ज्यादा कवर कर पाओगे, which I don't think that studying on a small screen and getting an output from that screen would ever give you. तो जितना हो सके हार्ड कॉपी में अपने आप को रखिए। एंड यस, अपने नोट्स बनाना बहुत जरूरी है। यदि आपने किसी हार्ड कॉपी से पढ़ा है, उसमें भी आपने अंडरलाइन किया है, उस अंडरलाइन के अंदर कुछ तो ऐसे पॉइंट होंगे ना जो आपको लगता है कि वो इंपॉर्टेंट से भी इंपॉर्टेंट है। इनफैक्ट दे आर सुपर इंपॉर्टेंट, दे आर सुपर इंपॉर्टेंट। ब्रिंग दोस एंड पुट इट इन अ पीस ऑफ पेपर दैट इज इन योर ओन हैंड राइटिंग, ताकि अब लास्ट में आखिरी मोमेंट पे जब आप जाए, यू आर एबल टू रीड देम, रिवाइज देम जस्ट इन एन आवर ऑफ टाइम। ऐसा कुछ हैंडी आपको जरूर बनाना पड़ेगा, ओके? क्योंकि करंट अफेयर बहुत ही ज्यादा एग्जॉस्टिव होता है, ओके? तो ये तरीका यदि आप अपनाएंगे तो आई एम श्योर दैट यू आर एबल टू रिवाइज एवरीथिंग ऑल दैट यू स्टडी इन द होल ईयर स्पैन। यू विल बी एबल टू रिवाइज देम विद इन एन आवर और टू, और मे बी वन डे नहीं तो कम से कम 4 घंटे में आप कर लोगे। इतना आप जरूर अपने आप को प्रिपेयर कर ले करंट अफेयर्स में। करंट अफेयर्स में भाई देखो, न्यूज़पेपर्स तो पढ़ ही सकते हो। द इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, वेरी गुड न्यूज़पेपर, ओके? और द हिंदू पढ़ सकते हो, आप उसके आर्टिकल्स भी पढ़ सकते हो। ट्राई टू कीप दोज आर्टिकल्स, मेक द प्रॉपर कटिंग ऑफ द आर्टिकल्स, ट्राई टू कीप इट एंड ट्राई टू सॉल्व देम, ट्राई टू रीड देम। तो ये आपको जरूर हेल्प करेगा। ये केवल आपको करंट अफेयर्स में ही नहीं, बल्कि एट द सेम टाइम आपके लॉजिकल रीजनिंग और इंग्लिश में भी हेल्प करेगा। तो ये सब्जेक्ट बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक होता है, एंड दिस सब्जेक्ट नॉट ओनली कवर दिस पोर्शन, बट आपका जो लीगल रीजनिंग है उसमें भी काफी सारी रोशनी डालता है। Because the newspaper contains everything. It is the Bible of today's preparations. You talk about any exams, the top-notch exams. You talk about UPSC. People cannot clear UPSC unless they are eating those papers on a daily basis. They keep almost 2 to 3 hours. They eat that paper. कोई भी एक newspaper वो पढ़ता है। मैंने 2 इसलिए लिखा so that you can take one of them. If you are taking 2, then it's okay. If you have taken a drop for an example, or you are about to take a drop, तो 1-2 पेपर अपने में कोई बुराई नहीं, there is nothing wrong in that, okay? Along with magazines, monthly magazines, ये monthly magazines काम की होती है, ऑनलाइन भी मिल जाता है। you can take up those online monthly magazines also. They are equally good and that would help you to go for the current affairs part, ठीक है? तो मेरे ख्याल से 3-4 चीजों में तो हमने बात करी है। 5वां जो बच जाता है मैथमेटिक्स, ओके? मैथमेटिक्स मतलब होता है आपका क्वांटिटेटिव एबिलिटी। इन क्वांटिटेटिव एबिलिटी मेरे को परसेंटेज एवरेज क्या है वो कुछ दिखा नहीं। 2020 का पेपर उठा करके देख लो, आप 2021 का पेपर उठा करके देख लो, आप 2022 का पेपर उठा करके देख लो, और 2023 का पेपर उठा करके देख लो। आप यदि कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ते ना, यू डू नॉट स्टडी एनीथिंग, आप केवल 3 टॉपिक जरूर पढ़िए, परसेंटेज, ऑलराइट, प्रॉपर्टी, एवरेज, रेशियो एंड प्रोपोर्शन। रेशियो प्रोपोर्शन की जरूरत नहीं है, बट जस्ट आई एम राइटिंग रेशियो एंड प्रोपोर्शंस। दीज 3 चैप्टर्स इनफैक्ट मतलब पिछले साल भी, इस साल भी इनके अलावा पेपर कहीं गया नहीं। इनफैक्ट इन 2022 all the questions were based on percentage, all of them. उसके अलावा कुछ पूछा ही नहीं। इस साल भी एवरेज और परसेंटेज के अंदर ही था, ओके? आई वुड रेकमेंड यू टू कवर almost every topic of mathematics, the basic elementary topic. I can only tell you that they do not ask you deeply from the chapter. If you only know the concept of various chapter, whether it is the properties of numbers, or it is the concept of percentage, or the concept of profit and loss, or simple interest, or compound interest, or average, or ratio, or speed and time, or little knowledge that you can carry through mensuration and so on, I believe that you are able to solve almost every question of mathematics. The only problem that people face in this particular section is the concern. People are not concerned about this section because of the fact that it contains only I would say 15 questions. Now 15 questions means only 10% of the paper. So when it comes in your mind that there is only going to be the 15 questions, 10% of the paper, so you lose interest, because this particular section demands a lot of preparations, because it is not only just logical but also mathematical as well. So you need to keep lot of things in your mind. You need to make proper boundary. Only then you are able to perform in these sections. इस साल के पेपर में, but होता क्या है क्लैट के पेपर में, आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू क्लैट पेपर्स फॉर द लास्ट 4 years. हर बार क्लैट के पेपर में 2 से 3 सवाल तो गलत होते ही होते हैं. 2-3 सवाल हर साल गलत होते हैं. आंसर गलत होने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं, यू कैन रेक्टिफाई इट, बट समटाइम्स द कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर रॉन्ग इन द पेपर. आई मीन जो क्वेश्चंस बने होते हैं वो क्वेश्चंस काफी गलत होते हैं. तो क्लैट के पेपर में एक सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है कि उसके अंदर हर साल आपको 2 से 3 सवाल ऐसे मिलेंगे जो क्वेश्चन ही गलत लिखे गए हैं. एंड दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई समटाइम्स पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू ब्रिंग देयर इंटरेस्ट इनटू द सेक्शन. दैट इफ आई गेट इनटू द सेक्शन एंड डू नॉट फाइंड द क्वेश्चंस टू बी एप्रोप्रिएट, गलत होगा तो क्या होगा, मेरा टाइम वेस्ट होगा. तो बेटर है कि करेंगे. ओके, बट बिलीव मी, इफ समवन हु नोज दिस पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन वेल आफ्टर प्रिपरेशंस, और यदि 15 सवाल आपको ऐसे मिलते हैं, ऑल ऑफ देम इफ प्रॉपर्ली मेड, तो इट कैन क्रिएट अ मिरेकल इन दिस कोर्स. ऑलराइट, सो आउट ऑफ ऑल सच थिंग्स दैट यू वुड बी डूइंग, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट दैट कम्स इन द एंड ऑफ द डे वुड बी द mock tests. Mock tests are nothing but the analysis of all that you have studied. There are 3 things that you need to keep in your mind. Number 1, preparation. Number 2, revision. Revision is the key. If you are not revising whatever that you are studying, it will not give you any result of the copy branch. Whatever that you are studying, how easy that would be, doesn't matter. If you are not properly revising, then it is not going to give any impact in your preparation. Revision is the most important. It creates the trust in the topic. It creates the assertiveness in your mind that yes, you are going to clear the exam. Revision एक environment create करता है, एक electromagnetic environment आपके दिमाग के अंदर, आपके brain के अंदर create करता है that yes, gentlemen, this can be done. ये हो सकता है यार, तुम बढ़िया कर रहे हो, मजा आ रहा है. तो ये आपके अंदर का विश्वास जो है ना, उसको एनर्जाइज करता है, उसको एक्टिव करता है. इफ यू आर ओनली प्रिपेयरिंग एंड नॉट मेकिंग एनी रिविजन, यू आर नॉट पुटिंग एनी एफर्ट इन रिविजन, बिलीव मी, वो प्रिपरेशन आपकी किसी भी काम का नहीं. हर एक चीज जो आप पढ़ते हो कम से कम 2 बार रिवाइज होना चाहिए, एटलीस्ट 2 times. तो प्रिपरेशन, रिविजन और उस पढ़ाई का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. और इंप्लीमेंटेशन से मेरा मतलब है दैट यू आर मेकिंग प्रॉपर मॉक टेस्ट पेपर्स. तो मॉक टेस्ट पेपर्स क्या करते हैं? मॉक टेस्ट पेपर्स आपको जज करेगा. प्रिपरेशन आपको आपके ब्रॉडनेस को तैयार करेगा, आपको एक वाइडर स्कोप देगा दैट दिस इज व्हाट आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग, मैंने इतना कुछ पढ़ लिया. रिवीजन उस ब्रॉडनेस को एक्सेप्ट करेगा, दिमाग में करवाएगा, एंड देयरबाय क्रिएट लॉट ऑफ not only the interest but a trust that yes, this could be done. So it is going to bring lot of assertive state of mind. और implementation आपकी गलतियों को बाहर निकालेगा. आपको पता है हम मॉक क्यों देते हैं? हम मॉक इसलिए नहीं देते कि हमको कितना आता है, हम मॉक इसलिए देते हैं कि हमको क्या नहीं आता है, और हमको जो नहीं आता है क्या उसमें हम वर्क कर सकते हैं, कैन वी डू इट. If you think that you are writing the mock just to find out what is your score, then you are a fool. You are writing mock just to figure it out, what could be done, what I am missing, what I am not able to figure it out. You are trying to find out your vices in the mock so that you can remove it, you can rinse it next time, you can rectify it next time. So these are the 3 different things that you need to live for the next 10 to 11 months of time before getting into the next CLAT exams. So prepare, revise and implement through mocks. This is all that you need to do. This is a complete cycle. ये cycle अपने आप चलेगा. That is, if you ask me to make a diagram, prepare, revise and implement, I'll ask you, it goes like this, it goes like this, and then it goes like this. This is what you are supposed to do. इसके अलावा आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. Okay? And the number 1 point, number 8 point, that is keep your companion, and I would say keep your friend of similar mindset. You can tell me your friend, I can tell your career, I can tell your future. सच्ची बता रहा हूँ, आपका जो environment है वो सही होना चाहिए. तो ये आपका स्टूडेंट, आपका फ्रेंड भी ऐसी कुछ है, he has a similar mind thought, set of thought in his mind. So believe me, you have a fantastic player to work with, and this would create a lot of miracle in the exams. So today at this point of time, when we have CLAT 2024, which is a little far, but it is 100% going to happen one day, I would only suggest you that a lot of preparation can be done in this year of span during the time you are going to write the next exam and so on. And anybody who could think of clearing these exams, I think there is no hindrance at all, there is no problem at all. Right? The only step that you need to go for is to take a positive set of mind and then go about it. If you are not doing anything, sitting idle at home and realizing that this could be done and that could be done, this will not bring any response to you. You have to come out and bring the response to yourself. Based on that, you are supposed to work on these following things to make your preparation done. We at Success at Education Services provide you the most contemporary, streamlined material based on what is happening across the world right at this point of time. You will not find our material, our mock test papers that we have already done last year. Every year the mock test papers, the classroom worksheets, the sheets that we give to the students changes. जो आज सोसाइटी में हो रहा है, जो आज घटना घट रही है, जो कल घटा था उसके ऊपर आज की शीट होगी and all that. That we provide to all the students. And if you feel like joining any of our course, we have all short-term, medium-term, long-term courses available with us. For any inquiry, you can contact us. But at this moment, to understand what is to be done, what would be your game plan, how would you fight this battle, I have kept the actual CLAT papers of 2020, 2021, 2022, and the latest one, that is 2023. So keep that with you, download that, think about it, look at all the passages, make your mind, and then we'll see you again in the next video with something else. Okay, प्रियांश, थोड़ा सा नॉइस मेरे को लगता है कुछ इशू जरूर हो सकता है. प्रियांश, आई एम सॉरी टू से, मैं इसको बाद में रिजॉल्व कर दूंगा. राइट नाउ इट इज डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज आई एम इनटू इट and I have tried it from across different sources. थोड़ा सा कुछ बैकग्राउंड इशू आ रहा है. मे बी मुझे लगता है the mic and the camera mic is working together, maybe because of that. I'll try to rectify it. Please pardon me for this noise and inconvenience. I'll try to rectify it in the next time. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Bye bye.